Exclusively designed by Nixie Nax Arts, we bring you our second exclusive mat with the colossal Rainbow Neos taking on Red Eyes Dragoon, using both Dark Magician and Red Eyes alongside Elemental Hero Neos and of course Rainbow Dragon. Produced by Venom Battle Gear, this is an exclusive mat only available from their site. You can get this mat both with and without zones, and it can be shipped worldwide. What are you waiting for? Visit venombattlegear.co.uk to get your own exclusive Rainbow Neos versus Red Eyes Dragoon playmat.
What's it, YouTube? Dal here from Zephyr Games, bringing you, as the one of the poll, the competitive Jinzo profile. Now, warning before we get started, yes, it does contain meta engines, okay? This is a build that I would take to my locals, that I would try to win with, that I would compete with. It is incredibly powerful, very, very consistent, and the Jinzo actually offers an extra layer of protection for your combos as well. At the end of the video, I will bring you a free card combo that will end you on a Jinzo plus 2 incredibly powerful boss monsters alongside some back row protection as well. With that said and done, please smash the like button, hit notification bell and subscribe so you do not miss out on any more Yu-Gi-Oh content. If you would like to see a pure Jinzo version, then smash the like button. If this video gets 50 likes, then I will bring you a pure Jinzo version which only focuses on Jinzo himself and all of the madness and trap negation that he can get up to. With that out of the way, let's get into the Jinzo profile. So we start off with 3 of the brand new Jinzo the Machine Menace. Now you can actually play this at 2 and you play normal Jinzo at 3 should you want. But the reason of this card is so good is it can count as a level 7 or 6. So if a trap is face up on the field or in either graveyard, you can special summon this card from the hand, and if you do, it becomes a level 6 until the end of the turn. During the main phase, quick effect, you can tribute this card, special summon 1 Jinzo from your hand or graveyard, then you can destroy all traps your opponent controls. If a card is set, reveal it. You can only use each effect once per turn. So the idea is that he can technically become a heavy storm during the end phase should your opponent be setting traps. Now, the idea is that when they're going to be setting cards, they are 9 times out of 10 going to be trap cards, and Jinzo is literally just going to go, cool, I'm going to tribute this off, I'm going to destroy all of those, I'm going to special summon out of Jinzo as well, and the Jinzo is going to negate all the traps. It's beautiful. We've then got double Jinzo. Now again, like I said, the ratios of these can go either or. I've kind of gone with this one because it's easier to special summon out of the deck, special summon onto the board, opposed to the normal Jinzo. But the normal Jinzo actually puts in a bit of work because it protects your combos later on in the phase from being impermed or evenly matched as well. We've then got double Psychic Bounder. You can play this at 3 if you want, but we use a different normal summon in the deck. If this card is normal or special summoned, you add 1 Jinzo or spell or trap that specifically lists that card in its text from your deck to your hand. When another monster you control is attacked by an opponent's monster before damage calculation, you can destroy both the attacking monster and this card. Only use the effect once per turn. So again, it's another nice way of making sure that your opponent can't just run over your weaker monsters with ease if this guy is on board. Then we go with our first engine. Now the first engine is of course triple Magician's Souls and double Apprentice Illusion. Now Apprentice Illusion is actually very important in this deck because it can give you an additional level 6, so you can consistently pump out your rank 6 plays. But the reason we've gone with Magician's Souls is just to make Jinzo the Machine Menace more consistent. Because it needs a trap in the graveyard, what you can do with Souls is a free extender, put a trap in the graveyard, special summon down, and you've got instantly 2 darks on the board, so you then increase your plays from there. You can take out the Magician's Souls. Again, these engines that are coming up are ones that you can take out, and that's where you would put in stuff like Crackdown, and you can even put in a little Mercuria and Metal Reflect Slime engine, should you want to go a little bit spicy and get into an Egyptian God Slime to again protect the rest of your stuff going off. That will be a combo that Joe will show you in a possible Ra deck future update. But yeah, so this is the first engine that kind of utilises putting traps in the grave to make Menace more consistent, rank 6 engine of Apprentice Illusion as well, and Magician's Souls as a general dark extender. We've then got the Phantom Knight engine, purely because with Rusty Bardiche back, this is how you can end your board from 3 cards with a Jinzo, 2 boss monsters, an additional Link monster, plus back row hate as well. So this just keeps you extending. They are dark, so they are allure fodder targets as well. And there's actually a really kind of cool combo that if you open up with this, you can get into a Verti Anaconda. And at the end of the day, the reason that Verti Anaconda is so powerful is because it gives you that ability that if everything goes against you, if your opponent opens up the absolute nuts and stops most of your plays, you've always got a fallback to produce one of the strongest cards in the current meta right now. Then we've got our most important normal summon, and that is obviously the Dark Beckoning Beast with the Chaos Summoning Beast. Now this is a 1.5 card engine because the idea is that you either normal summon the Dark Beckoning Beast or you activate your opening of the Spirit Gates. That then on its own can climb up with a discard, climb up into Rusty Bardiche. And I'll show you that combo at the end. And that Rusty Bardiche then leads you to 2 extenders, which gets you into Verti Anaconda, and then leads you into at least 1 Fog Blade, if not 2. Of course, we are playing Verti Anaconda, so you do play the 1 Dark Magician, 1 Red Eyes. Again, should it become a dead engine, they are darks. You could, if you really wanted to and be incredibly spicy, search this out off of your Apprentice. You would have to hard summon it, but you could search this out off of Apprentice to deck fin a little bit. You could also summon it down with a Machine Menace and make a rank 7, but it is very, very specific in order to try and do that. So that's just something to say it can be done. I'm not saying that you would do it. Now onto the spells. We play Triple Law of Cosmos. I love this card. Like when I read a translation, I was like, it's not so great. But this card's really good. So, your opponent can set 1 trap directly from their hand or deck. Then if they did, special summon 1 Jinzo from the deck. If they did not, you add 1 Jinzo or 1 monster that specifically lists that card in its text. So the idea is, if they choose to set the trap, you're going to summon the Jinzo to turn it off anyway. The way we're going to play this in the combo is we're going to do it that they don't and they just let you add a Jinzo, because technically adding a Jinzo to the hand or a card that specifically lists it in its hand can slightly brick you, or what they'll consider as bricked if they don't know what the new cards can do. So Law of Cosmos is very, very good. The chances are they're probably not going to set the trap unless the trap is something amazing and they think they can easily get rid of your Jinzo and then activate it. There's not really a lot that they can kind of do. So the chances are they're probably going to not add, and you're going to add the Jinzo to hand. But because you can add a monster that lists it, you can add Machine Menace, and you can also add the Reflect Bounder as well. Because all of our monsters are darks, apart from the Reflect Bounder, we do play Triple Law of Darkness. We've then got Double Opening of the Spirit Gates. Now this can arguably be put to 3, and you can put Dark Beckoning to 2. Really depends on the ratios you want to go, or you just play 3 and 3. This is also a very easy target to send off of souls and get you a draw later on in the period. We've then got the 1 Cyber Energy Shock. Now this, in my opinion, was probably one of the better versions and the more consistent cards for the Jinzo support. So if you control Jinzo, target 1 card on the field, destroy it. Then if it was a trap card, you can apply one of these effects. Negate the effects of 1 face-up card on the field until the end of the turn. So again, should your opponent choose to set a trap card, you know it's a trap card. You can then have this set up and ready to go with your Jinzo on the board. So if your opponent goes normal summon anything, declare to use the effect, you can go chain. This will then pop the trap card. Because it is a trap card, I can then negate. So the idea is that you can revert, negate, stuff like that. And it doesn't have to. You just target 1 card on the field. So even if it's not a trap card, you can just target a card on the field and pop it. So again, it has multiple usage. The only issue is you do have to control Jinzo. We've then got the Red Eyes Fusion, the 1 Monster Reborn, and the 1 Call by the Grave. Arguably, you could put in triple tactical talents if you wanted to, but the Call by the Grave is in there because if you do open it up, you do need it. It's one of the most bizarre things to be put, but until we get Designator, you kind of have to play Call by. Then for the trap lineup, we've got triple Infinite Impermanence, double Titansider. Now, the reason I've gone with Titansider, and I've worked a lot on this deck with Joe, is purely because we were looking at trap cards that if they were to get discarded to the graveyard, whether it be through Souls, whether it be for Apprentice, we need something else in there. We need it to be able to give us an additional effects. So we looked at old school cards like Lost Wind and Breakthrough Skill and stuff like that, and we kind of thought, you know what, the Phantom Knight engine is incredibly powerful, so we have to play this. But then Titansider is the next best option because even if we leave it on the field, we can recycle it. If we send it to the graveyard, we get to recycle it. It negates the effects, it reduces it to 0. It just gives you a lot more to play around with. Now, obviously, keep in mind that if you have Jinzo on the board, Jinzo is going to negate it as well. So the idea is with these cards, you're probably going to want to put them in the grave. And Imperm is actually going to be a previous card that's going to allow you to just interrupt and stop your opponent. So this is kind of the route that we've kind of gone with and decided to go with. We've got the 1 Shade Brigadine. Of course, this is all part of the 2-card combo or the 3-card combo to get you into Rusty Bardiche, Verti Anaconda, and the Jinzo. And then, of course, you've got the Phantom Blades or the Fog Blades that can also have a graveyard effect to bring back your Rusty Bardiche should your opponent get rid of it. And on top of that, you've also got the ability to just flat out negate one of your opponent's cards, which is beautiful. Again, you have to be very, very consistent on how much you rely on the tracks because Jinzo will negate them. So you do have to make sure that you're either getting rid of your Jinzo or you're using this as a secondary backup should your Jinzo leave the board. That's it for the deck. Like I said, if you want to see a pure version, smash that like button, get this video up to 50, and I will be more than happy to do a pure version for you guys as well. Now, moving on to the extra deck, a couple of these cards are options. You don't actually have to play them. They are a couple of alternatives that you can use and abuse, and it just gives you a look into what this deck can do. So, entirely up to you on how you want to play it. So we'll start off with the rank 6s first. So I've got the one Jinzo Laird. You can play this at 2, but because this isn't a pure version, I'm not heavily relying on the rank 6 plays. Another one to go alongside Jinzo Laird is one of my favourite cards, and that's Dhampir the Vampire Sheridan. Now, in a Jinzo deck, it's actually a lot better because if you use a monster on monsters with a level that was owned by your opponent, so you can steal with Jinzo Laird, you can steal with Crackdown. I'm pretty sure there's also a new... So you've got Cosmo challenging that if you control, you can send one monster you control that is owned by your opponent to the graveyard. So there's a lot of stuff like this. So just taking control of your opponent's monsters gives you an additional effect. So Sheridan allows you to have, for example, a Jinzo level 6, and then one of your opponent's monsters with a level to make Sheridan, and then you're starting to send a card to your opponent's graveyard, which is beautiful. Photon Strike Bowser, if you open up in the free card combo, if you were to open up an Apprentice Illusion, then with a discard as well, you can then end your board on a Photon Strike Bowser, plus a Dragoons, plus a Bardiche, plus a Fogblade. So you've got a lot to go with that one. I've also got number 24, Dragulus the Vampiric Dragon. Again, personal preference. I just love this card. Like, its artwork is stunning. So once per turn, during the other player's turn, you can detach one material from this card, then target one face-up monster on the field that was special summoned from the extra net and change it to face-down defense position. If this face-up card in its owner's control is sent to the graveyard or banished by your opponent's card effect, you can special summon this card in face-down defense position. If this card is flipped face-up, send one card from the field on the field to the graveyard, so non-target send. So very specific, but again, it's just personal preference. You can play whatever rank 6 you want. And then we've got the one number 39, Utopia Beyond, purely because you're going to go Utopia Beyond, everything to 0, boom, swinging in for game. So again, you don't need to play as many rank 6, you can double up Jinzo Laird if you want. The core ones that you want to go for are Laird and Photon Bowser. If you go for a pure Jinzo, then Dhampir will become more consistent and kind of go from there. Then for the last of the ranks, we've got the one rank 2, number 65, Jin Buster, and the one number 29, Mimikyu Cat. So the idea behind these is they both require 2 level 2 monsters, which is what your Dark Beckoning Beasts are. So with the Jin, it requires 2 Dark level 2s. During the other player's turn, when an effect of an opponent's monster is activated, so even in the hand, detach 2 materials from this card and negate the activation. If you do, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. So your opponent goes to Nibiru, you go, okay, cool, Jin, and you're going to get burnt for it. The Mimicat is once per turn, detach 1 material from this card, target 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it to your opponent's field. If a monster or monsters is special summoned to your opponent's field while you control this monster, except during the damage step, you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, special summon 1 monster with the same type or attribute from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So again, the idea is if you're not going for the Jin protection, you go with your Mimicat, and the Mimicat can then go, alright, cool, I'm going to bring a back monster for you, and then I'm going to allow it to special summon it. So again, very, very specific, can be swapped out for any kind of other ranks or any kind of other link monsters, but it just gives you another option should you need it. Now, the idea is that with the combo first time round, you're just going to go through it, but the idea is if you keep the gate, you can normal summon a Beckoning Beast, discard a card, bring back another Beckoning Beast, and you go into Jin, and then that allows you to protect your board even more. On to the, well, we'll just chuck in the one fusion monster, obviously Red Eyes Dragoon, or Doi, and then we're going to go for the link monster. So we've got the one Link Kuriboh, so for your Magician's Souls and the Chaos Summoning Beast should you open it. You've then got your Link Spider, very important. So a lot of people actually forget this, but the Shade Brigadine is a normal monster. So you can't just use Shade Brigadine and go into Verti Anaconda because it's not an effect monster. So you turn it into Link Spider, it then becomes an effect monster, and then off you go. Almirage, again, very important because you can actually turn the Phantom Knight of Cloak. If you open it, turn Cloak into Almirage. Cloak will then add the Phantom Knights of Shade Brigadine, activate Shade Brigadine, straight away, there you go, Verti Anaconda, turn it into Link Spider, boom, done. We've then got the IP Masquerena. So because one of your main boss monsters in the deck is the Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardiche, you don't mind putting the Beckoning Beast into Masquerena and then going into Bardiche, because then it makes it a pretty much hard to destroy Bardiche, and that's then going to be backed up as well. Plus, keep in mind that this is a Dark XYZ, this is a Dark XYZ, and these two are Dark XYZs. So should you keep the Rusty Bardiche and then normal summon or get a level 6 to the board during your next turn, you can make a rank 6 and then use their rank 6 effect alongside Rusty Bardiche. You got the Verti Anaconda, the Rusty Bardiche, and then this is your final boss monster. This can be anyone you want, but I've gone with access code. You only play like, you've got Fire, Earth, Dark in your extra deck, but the idea is that literally, again, it's kind of like Verti Anaconda. Verti Anaconda is the first one you'll go to, but access code is another one of them cards that if you can get enough monsters on the board, you just hard make access code, and it is another way of being able to out your opponent's board, causing them issues, and just have an additional boss monster to pretty much claw you back the game should you be in that situation. It can be any link 3, it can be any link 4, it could be a nightmare, it could be whatever you want. That is entirely up to you. Now I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and I'm now going to show you the 3-card combo. So for the 3-card combo, what you need is you need Lure of Cosmos. This can actually be the other Jinzo, so it's literally just a route to get to it. And then you need Dark Beckoning Beast. And if you open up the Jinzo, great. You then search out the other you then search out Machine Menace for this, or vice versa. So either way, either or is kind of like that. And then the Dark Beckoning Beast can be Spirit Gate or himself. So you've got a couple of variations in the deck of how it's going to work. So the way this is going to work, we'll start off with the 3 kind of core cards. So we'll go with these 3. So what you're going to do is you're going to activate Lure of Cosmos. Now, if Lure of Cosmos, they actually choose to set the trap, fine, you just skip a step. But you still need a discard fodder. That will then make this be anything you want. But the idea is you're going to activate Lure of Cosmos. We're going to assume that we're going to add it. So you're either going to go with the Jinzo himself or you go with the Machine Menace, whichever one you're missing. You're then going to activate the Spirit Gate. Spirit Gate is then going to get you Dark Beckoning. You're then going to normal summon your Dark Beckoning. Dark Beckoning's effect is going to go off. I'm going to zoom out a little bit more. There we go. Dark Beckoning Beast effect is going to go off. So either or on this one. This would then search you this then searches you Chaos Beast, or vice versa. So where are you, Chaos Beast? There you go. So then you get the Chaos Summoning Beast. You get additional normal summons, so you normal summon down your Chaos Summoning Beast. You then link the 2 of these together, and you go into your IP Masquerena. There we go. And then from this point on, you discard the Jinzo. Now, it has to be normal Jinzo that you discard, because we're going to be special summoning this later on. So you discard the normal Jinzo, that goes to the graveyard. You can bring back any of the Chaos Summoning Beasts. They're both fiends with 0/0, so it doesn't really matter, because you're just using it as link fodder to then go up into the Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardiche. Then use the effect of the Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardiche to send Cloak from your deck to the graveyard. I'm going to get the boots, the Fog Blade, and the Bardiche as we go anyway. So you're going to send Cloak. Cloak is then going to be banished. Obviously, you're going to finish off the set from that and set your Phantom Knights of Shade Brigandine. You've got no traps in the graveyard, which is great. You're then going to add the boots off of the Cloak. You're going to special the boots because you control Phantom Knights. You're going to activate the Phantom Knights of Shade Brigandine. You're then going to link this off into Link Spider. Very important at this point. Where are you, Link Spider? There we go. Now, at this point is when you want to bring down the Machine Menace, because the whole idea of this combo is to protect your Verti Anaconda. If your opponent goes, oh, he's making the Verti Anaconda play, I'm going to hold on to this Imperm, you go, okay, special summon down Jinzo because there's a trap in my graveyard. Then use the effect of this to destroy itself to bring back. Now, this will turn off your Fog Blade during the end phase, but it's just an option to protect from everything else. So what the idea is behind this is you're then going to go Link Spider and Boots. You're going to go into your Verti Anaconda. There we go. You are going to use Boots effect to set the Fog Blade anyway, because if they do get rid of Jinzo, then you're good to go. If they just Lightning Storm you or anything like that, again, you're fine. Like, you're not losing anything at this point. It's just an additional layer of deck fin and an additional disruption should your opponent kind of get to that point. So, from this point on, of course, you now do Verti Anaconda's effect. You send Red Eyes Fusion alongside with Dark Magician, Red Eyes, and Red Eyes Fusion. And you finish your board off with a Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Now, obviously, to make this more versatile, you could keep this in the hand, and then you've got a guaranteed discard for this if you only have the 3 cards. If you have more cards, of course, you keep them in hand. It's entirely up to you on where you want to go with that point. That is up to you. If you have more extenders, what you can do, like if you open up an apprentice, you could choose to not make the Jinzo to protect this from imperm. But in my opinion, this is one of the most powerful cards in the game right now. So this is what you want to end the board on. But should you open up an apprentice, should you not want to leave the Jinzo on the board to protect the Verti Anaconda, you can go into like your Photon Strike Bowser or anything like that. But the idea is you've added the Fog Blade off of Silent Boots. So let's say you have the rest of the 2 cards in your hand, right? Any 2 cards you want. If one of them is Apprentice, you could then discard the Fog Blade. And keep in mind, Fog Blade can actually bring back Bardiche if it leaves the board. You could then send the Fog Blade, summon down the Apprentice. Apprentice overlays here. Boom. You got Photon Strike Bowser, and then you still have 1 card in hand from your opening hand for Dragoons. So you still got a lot to play around with. You still got a lot to do. But the idea is that you're going to end the board with, technically from your opening hand, 3 cards in hand, including the Fog Blade. It's up to you if you want to set the Fog Blade, even though under Jinzo. It means your opponent cannot evenly match you. They cannot imperm you. They can super poly you because you are all darks. But for some strange reason, there's not a lot of super polys that I'm seeing being played and abused right now. But that is 1 card that will hurt you. But it does mean that your opponent, again, like I said, evenly match, one of the best board clearing cards. Imperm, one of the best interrupting cards. So it basically punishes your opponent for holding on to an imperm to stop the Verti Anaconda. Now, at a certain point, it could fall apart. Like if they want to stop the Bardiche, then it kind of hurts it a little bit more and stuff like that. But it's just the part of the game. Naturally, I would probably want to try and hold the imperm to guarantee that you've got no form of it. Because the last thing you need is if you imperm a Bardiche and your opponent just goes, okay, fine, extender, Verte, like get my Dragoons anyway. So it really depends on the opponent you're facing, but it does give you a competitive edge on Jinzo, and that's what you've got to remember on this profile, guys. This is a competitive Jinzo profile. This is what I would use, this is what I would build, this is what I would play as a competitive version of Jinzo. You need the engines to get you into the meta relevance. There's no point in saying, oh, I don't like playing like these cards. It's like, yeah, alright, you might not like playing those cards, but you can't like disregard that these are some of the strongest engines and the strongest like boss monsters in the game that's splashable. Use them and abuse them while you can. Like unless your local specifically says no to these cards, there's no reason not to play the best cards around. So that's kind of what we've gone with this. We've made Jinzo as competitive as it currently can be in the current format. And like I said, thanks so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Smash this video so it gets up to 50 likes and I will do a pure Jinzo version for you guys as well. As absolutely always, guys, stay safe and happy dueling.
Exclusively designed by Nixinax Arts, we bring you our second exclusive mat with the colossal Rainbow Neos taking on Red Eyes Dragoon, using both Dark Magician and Red Eyes alongside Elemental Hero Neos and of course Rainbow Dragon. Produced by Venom Battle Gear, this is an exclusive mat only available from their site. You can get this mat both with and without zones, and it can be shipped worldwide. What are you waiting for? Visit venombattlegear.co.uk to get your own exclusive Rainbow Neos versus Red Eyes Dragoon playmat.